All right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah and very good morning. Okay, for this week's lesson, we will be covering the food service system. Okay, I'll be using this video from YouTube to guide this class. Okay, it's a very good video. All right, let's start.
Complete this lesson, you should be able to understand a food service system, learn the characteristics of a food service system, know the various types and assess the advantages and disadvantages. Let us learn some characteristics of food service that make it unique compared to production of other products. The uniqueness influences decisions that are made about production and service. Some of these characteristics are: the demand for food can occur at peak times. The demand for food may vary depending on the time of the year or during events. The food production and service can be labor intensive. Both skilled and unskilled labor is needed, and menus can be changed on a daily basis, and hence production also changes daily. These changes create everyday challenges in scheduling employees, and production becomes difficult based on staffing, and therefore high labor and food cost is seen in food service institutions. Before we go to the different food service systems, let us understand the flow of food in a food service system. Food flows through 10 possible processes, namely menu planning, which is followed by purchasing. After purchasing, the goods are received, then they are stored. After storing, they go for preparation or the pre-preparation, the final production or the cooking part. Then the cooked product is held either at cold or hot temperatures. Then it goes for serving, cooling and again reheating.
Okay, take note apa yang dia kata sini. These are 10 possible process that a food service system may go through. Maksudnya tak semua akan lalu proses ni. Mungkin satu the first food service operation, mungkin dia pergi kat cooking, dia tak hold, dia serve terus. Food service kedua mungkin lepas cook dia tak serve immediately, dia cooling dulu, dia reheat, and then the next day baru dia serve. So bear in mind, these are the general 10 that are possible, but not all food service will go through all 10. Some may go 10, some may have 6, some may have 9. Okay, that's the point that the lecturer wishes to highlight.
All these processes do not apply to all of the systems.
See?
When food production is centralized, a transporting process needs to be added. With a centralized food service system, there will be different processes for the central food production facility and the receiving kitchens. Let us see how the form of food is purchased. Another concept that is important to the understanding of systems is the form in which the food is purchased. For example, if food were purchased at the none end of the continuum, the ingredients for a product would be purchased. On the other hand, if food were purchased at the complete end, the food product would be ready to eat or serve.
Okey, sekejap saya tunjuk apa yang dimaksudkan dengan continuum ni. Okey, continuum yang dimaksudkan sini ialah ni, food process continuum. Kalau makin sebelah kiri, maksudnya food ni dalam keadaan yang paling mentah lah. Okay? Dan kalau food ingredient is purchased near the right end of the continuum, meaning complete, bermakna makanan tu dibeli dalam bentuk yang dah ready untuk dia masak ataupun untuk dia serve immediately lah. So itulah apa yang diilustrasikan melalui food process continuum tu. Saya ulang, sebelah kiri, kalau di sebelah kiri dia mewakili makanan yang mentah yang perlu diproses dan memerlukan proses yang memasak yang intensif lah. Kalau bahan ramuan tu dibeli di sebelah kanan, di sebelah komplit, maksudnya makanan tu dah hampir-hampir masak, dia cuma perlu reheat dan reheat ataupun disejukkan, sama ada disejukkan atau reheat, dan kemudian dia boleh serve. Okay? Okay, balik semula kepada video.
Now, the purchasing desk is the form in which the food is purchased. For example, if food were purchased at the none end of the continuum, the ingredients for the food product with centralized food production, food is more likely to be purchased from the left end of the continuum, that is, with little or no processing. The processing of food preparation will be done in the central kitchen. This often represents a substantial food cost saving. Food cost and labor cost usually are inversely related. As one goes up, the other one goes down. If the quantities of food produced are very high, as in the case of a large central kitchen, productivity will increase, making labor costs more reasonable. In the assembly food service system, food is purchased at the complete end of the food processing continuum. That means food costs are high, but less labor is required, so labor cost decreases. Now let us go to the main body of our lesson, the different types of food service systems. The different
Semuanya ada
types of
4
food
ya.
service systems are 4, and these are conventional food service system, commissary food service system, ready prepared, and assembly served food service system. First, let us see the conventional food service system. The conventional food service system is most common, although that is changing due to the current operating environment. In conventional food service systems, ingredients are assembled and food is produced on site. It is either heated or held chilled and then served to customers. As seen in this figure, food is purchased all along the food processing continuum.
Okay, maksudnya food is purchased all along the continuum ialah, saya kena tunjuk. Okay, tengok conventional food service. Meaning ramuan-ramuan makanan yang diguna tu sama dia ada ambil raw, semi raw, ataupun fully cooked. Semua jenis bahan tu dia boleh guna dalam untuk production makanannya. Okay. Teruskan.
For example, some items may be purchased from the none end and require full preparation, and other items may be purchased fully prepared, only requiring portioning and service. Conventional food service systems are used extensively in schools, restaurants, colleges, universities, and cafeterias. Because of the current labor shortage, many of these conventional food service systems are using more and more food products from the complete end of the food processing continuum. The advantages of conventional food service systems are several. The first one is high degree of perceived quality. This system makes people think that food is fresh and homemade, and therefore people often equate it with quality. The second one is flexibility in menu items. Any menu item can be included on the menu because food is prepared.
Okay, high degree of perceived quality sebab orang perceive dekat restoran dia prepare makanan tu fresh on the spot, dia tak prepare sehari 2 hari advance. So that's why high degree of freedom of quality tu agak tinggi dalam conventional food service ni. Walaupun sekarang ni banyak saja restoran yang guna makanan yang segera lah, misalnya chicken stock ataupun brown sauce yang jenis masukkan dalam air panas, dah sedia dah. Dia tak guna cara lama kena masak kena masak beef stock berap lama-lama macam.
Site and is served soon after production. Food can be served hot after preparation, which means that often freezing, chilling, or reheating typically does not impact the quality of the food product.
Meaning makanan yang serve immediately. Kalau dia sejuk lah. Kalau dia panas lah. Once dia dah masak, dia terus sampai ke customer. Meaning holding time, kalau ada pun sangat sikit ataupun tak ada langsung holding time.
Additional standardized recipes can be used. There is a little need to modify recipes for chilling and reheating or extremely large.
Sebab kita guna conventional dan relate juga kepada point high degree of perceived quality. Apabila sebab orang fikir kita masak ingredient from scratch, kita anggap benda tu fresh lah. Dan benda yang fresh selalunya diasosiasikan dengan resepi yang tradisional. So resepi yang tradisional untuk nasi lemak bolehlah sikit sebanyak dipakai dalam restoran yang biasa-biasa ni. Kalau kita nak compare produce nasi lemak untuk 300 pesakit di hospital, itu mungkin kena fikir cara lain lah. Meaning traditional standardized recipe mungkin tak boleh pakai dalam senario tu. Tapi kalau dalam senario restoran, apa yang dimasak di rumah, misalnya nasi lemak, mungkin applicable kalau you nak buka restoran you sendiri.
Production quantities. This means that there will be a large number of standardized quantity recipes available for use. This system also has its own disadvantages. The system is labor intensive. With conventional systems, preparation is timed in relation when the food will be served and eaten, and therefore the system is more affected by the peaks and low demand for food than any of the other systems. More labor will need to be scheduled during peak times, making the cost of labor higher for the system than for any of the other food service systems.
Sebab dia konvensional, selalunya kita perlu manpower banyak lah. Dan kalau kita buat menu yang hebat-hebat macam Western ke Flambe, selain pada labor intensif, the skill of the labor itself kena tinggi. Okay? Ataupun you nak ada fancy kulindor Flambe, you kena hire chef yang ada background lah in culinary arts and so on.
The second is consistency. There may be great variability in food quality, portion sizes, and food costs due to unskilled labor. Higher food costs can be a problem in these systems. Higher costs could result because there is less control of portion sizes, more deliveries are required by the vendors, and waste may be greater. There may be more total inventory since it is dispersed across locations. Next is food safety. The issue of food safety can be a problem here because there is less control over food safety in conventional food service systems compared to other food service systems. There are more decisions that must be made at critical control points. It is often difficult to provide the supervision necessary to ensure consistency in how staff follow the standard operating procedures in multiple levels. Next, we move on to the centralized or commissary food service system. The commissary food service system is also known as central kitchen, central food production, or food factory, centralizes food production, and food is transported to satellites or the receiving kitchens from where it is served to the customers.
Okay, so centralized food service ni ciri uniknya ialah perkataannya central. Okay, kalau kita patah balik ke conventional, dia punya keywords itu untuk tengok ciri uniknya ialah conventional, cara tradisional lah. Dan cara tradisional tu maksudnya makanan tu dibeli di ikan tu dipotong disiang, maybe bahan-bahan tertentu, misalnya sos di blend guna cili yang fresh as compared to guna cili sos yang sedia ada. And kita balik ke centralized kitchen, the keyword is central, meaning there's central means tengah-tengah, dia ada pusat, meaning dia hanya satu kitchen yang besar, production ada kat situ, dan dari situlah makanan, daripada kitchen besar yang satu tu lah makanan tu dihantar ataupun disampaikan kepada target customer dia. Okay?
Food is usually purchased near the non-end of the food processing continuum.
Okay, non-end of the food processing continuum. Maksudnya, okay, kita naik ke centralized, ataupun nama lain dia ialah commissary. Namanya ialah commissary food service. So, namanya juga adalah commissary food service. Tengok, dia kata food is purchased near to the non-end of the spectrum, meaning commissary ataupun centralized food service ni biasanya favor makanan yang mentah, sebab selalunya makanan yang mentah ataupun unprocessed food, uncooked food biasanya lagi murah as compared to food yang separa masak, 3/4 masak ataupun dah 100% masak. Okay? So itu jenis makanan ingredient yang dia yang centralized food service tu gunalah. Kenapa dia guna? Mari kita tengok video. Kita teruskan. Why?
And food preparation is done in the central kitchen, which results in lower food costs.
See, dia kata apa? When you purchase food near the non-end of the spectrum, meaning keadaan yang mentah, the food cost is lower. Okay?
Labor costs also are lower because of the centralization of food preparation. This food service system takes advantage of the economies of scale, as it is most effective when mass food production is required.
Meaning the more you produce, the cheaper your output becomes lah. When masukkan economy of sales.
One unique characteristic of the centralized food service system is that food is transported to external locations.
Tengok apa yang dia reflect apa yang saya cakap tadi. Unik dia, makanan disediakan pada satu tempat, kemudian dia dihantar ke external location for service.
Also known as satellites for service.
Satellite
Two
kitchens.
factors which have to be considered if food is transported is temperature and packaging. Food, when transported, either should be hot or cold, which impacts the delivery, and the equipment needs to be in that area in the receiving kitchens and also while during transportation. The next is packaging. Food can be sent to the receiving kitchen either in bulk or pre-plated, which impacts the equipment and labor needed at the receiving kitchen. In addition, food production and delivery schedules must also be coordinated. Centralized or commissary food service system is used in many types where there is a central production facility on or near the airport property where the food is prepared, pre-plated, sealed and either chilled or frozen.
Selain airline, setengah hospital pun di Malaysia guna juga kaedah centralized kitchen .
The pre-plated meals are placed in closed carts which are transported by truck to the flight where food is placed in the galley. The plates requiring rethermalization are placed in the convection ovens by the caterer. Assembly usually consists of placing the passenger's choice of hot entree on the tray that contains all of the cold items. Once the plane lands at its destination, the caterer sends a truck to the airplane to get the used carts, trays and dishes and returns them to the central food production facility for washing and sanitizing. Now let us see the advantages of this kind of centralized food service system. This system has many advantages, the prime one being lower food and supply costs. There can be significant cost savings from purchasing food and supplies in very large quantities needed for one large operation rather than for several small operations. Most of the food will be purchased near the none end of the food processing continuum where food costs are lowest. The second is purchasing power. Large centralized facilities provide the opportunity to have the purchasing power. The supplier or the vendor issues such as delivery schedules, size, quality, control and return policy may be reduced or eliminated. The ingredient control in this system can be improved. With a centralized food service system, there is greater control over ingredient which decreases food costs. Central kitchen is planned with an ingredient room where food items are pre-weighed and measured prior to preparation. This controls the quantities of ingredients used and ensures that standardized recipes are followed. The next is inventory control. Inventory control processes often are in place to ensure that food is issued in the appropriate quantities and there is good inventory turnover so that spoilage does not occur and food quality is maintained. This results in good fiscal management. Our next advantage is lowering of labor costs. Labor costs or the total number of employees can be reduced significantly using central food production. The high production quantities provide opportunities to increase productivity. This is an especially important selling point in today's environment where labor is scarce and expensive. Our next advantage is flexibility in scheduling food production. If food is transported cold, there is a great deal of flexibility in the scheduling of food production. This eliminates the peaks and valleys of demand for food and allows labor costs to be controlled. Production can be scheduled at any time during the day or any day of the week since it is separated from service.
Meaning dia tak macam konvensional, katakan pukul 12 nak jual, kita kena masak paling lewat pukul 11 contohnya. So itu konvensional. Tapi for centralized, mungkin dia boleh masak awal sikit, 7 pagi, kemudian dia hantar ke airline dekat dalam hospital, kemudian dia ada satellite kitchen sana. Satellite kitchen cuma simpan makanan yang dimasak pukul 7 pagi tu sejuk. Bila nak close to lunch time, dia just reheat dan serve. Itu saja. Okay, so that's what I mean. Production can be scheduled at any time during the day.
One is mechanization of preparation. Central kitchens utilize mechanized or custom-made equipment to increase the efficiency of food preparation and minimize the lifting and heavy work on the part of employees.
So, centralized food service ni biasanya dia guna peralatan mesin yang agak canggih lah, yang meminimalkan kerja-kerja human labour ni.
It is quality control. Quality control can be achieved in central food production systems because they provide the opportunity to have more quality control in the food served, including the consistency of products throughout many service sites. There are 3 aspects of food quality you should know. One is the microbiological quality. Central production often lends itself to more control over the microbiological quality of food because of the number of controls that are in place at all points in the flow of food through the system. Hazard analysis critical control point or HACCP plans and procedures must be in place in a centralized food service system. Our next quality is aesthetic quality. Color, texture, and appearance are aesthetic factors that are important in meals. These factors can be ensured through menu planning, purchasing, and preparation procedures in place in a centralized food service system because of the consistency and control that is possible. The last quality is nutritional quality. Nutritional quality of the meals in a centralized food service system requires consistency and control throughout planning, purchasing, and preparation. Consistency is the next advantage. Menus are planned and food is purchased and prepared centrally, which allows for consistency in which food items that are being served at any satellite kitchens. Better utilization of production facility. One central production facility allows better space and equipment utilization compared to the use of multiple small kitchens throughout a place. Also, productivity might be increased by getting contracts to provide food to other locations or other places like offices, schools, and daycare centers. There is flexibility in location. Central production facilities can be located in less expensive areas of town. The primary consideration is that location should be accessible to highways for deliveries to and from facility. A central location within the satellite location may also be advantageous. Fully equipped kitchens which are not needed in each satellite kitchen saves equipment cost. Central food production eliminates the need for some equipment at the receiving kitchen, which results in space savings and lowers building costs. Now let us move on to see the disadvantages of centralized food service system. There are several possible disadvantages in this kind of food service system. The first one being high initial capital investment for building and equipment. The initial cost of building and equipping a central production facility may be very high. Issues such as payback period and growth capabilities need to be considered since the investment may be advantageous over the long term. The next disadvantage is that technically skilled employees are required. Some of the equipment and processes in a central food production facility are assembly line. These may be monotonous jobs that would not be appropriate for some employees. Our third disadvantage is equipment malfunctions, which can be significant at times. If an equipment fails, the impact is far greater for a central production facility than if a piece of equipment fails in a satellite kitchen.
Sebab kita ada satu saja kitchen, satu je kitchen, let's say contoh satu oven yang besar. Kalau satu oven besar tu rosak, tak ada oven backup, meaning kacau lah you punya production. Okay. That's why dia kata preventive maintenance is important.
To reduce the downtime of equipment, preventive maintenance will be an extremely costly affair. Our next disadvantage is transportation costs.
Sebab you punya kitchen kat satu tempat yang jauh, so you mungkin akan perlu multiple vans and lorries to transport to your satellite kitchen or your satellite place where you serve the food lah.
Systems, transportation of prepared foods to receiving kitchens is not a cost, while in centralized food service systems, it can be significant. Costs will include delivery equipments, maintenance and repair, and also insurance. Perceived loss of quality. The mass production in a central kitchen often is perceived by customers to be less desirable than traditional food preparation.
Less desirable sebab kita masak in bulk. Selalunya kalau kita masak banyak-banyak ni, orang fikir mungkin kita terpaksa guna apa? Walaupun kita state situ kita pakai fresh ingredient, tapi tak semua customer know atau belajar food service and dia orang tak tahu centralized kitchen tu macam mana, dan dia orang mungkin skeptikal lah, makanan ni dia masak pukul apa, aku makan pukul 12, makanan ni dia masak pukul apa, pukul 6-7 pagi ke, macam mana dia maintain fresh ke tak. So that's what perceived loss of quality means.
Recipe modification may be required due to large quantities produced in a central kitchen.
So kalau nasi lemak dan dimasak dalam centralized kitchen, memang perlu lalui proses recipe modification ni lah. Mungkin setengah bahan tak sesuai digunakan dan perlu disubstitute guna bahan lain.
Chilled or frozen, recipe modification may be needed to maintain product quality. Current standardized recipes will need to be re-standardized when converting central food production. This may require purchasing different products and ingredients. Testing of products for both quality and taste will need to be an ongoing process. The other disadvantage is that food safety problems which can affect many customers. There will be a need to be very tight controls in place via a well-planned and implemented HACCP program to minimize the risks related to food safety. Now, we are moving on to our third type.
Okay, untuk hari ini saya rasa saya stop dulu pada centralized system dulu. Yang ready prepared dan assemble kita akan cover pada hari Rabu. But before I end the class, saya just nak summarizekan conventional food service and centralized food service tu macam mana. Okay, kita tengok summary-nya di sini. Kita tengok conventional food service, apa dia kata. Oops. Tengok sini saja. Okay. Conventional food service, location dia ialah on-site premise where the food is served. Meaning dia tak perlu hantar ke mini sites yang lain. Kalau lokasi dia ialah dekat dekat lorong tikus Gong Badak, meaning dia akan ada di address tu lah, lorong tikus Gong Badak. Dia tak ada di lorong Arnab ke lorong Harimau ke. Meaning kalau dia di satu tempat, di situ je dimasak, di situ je di serve. Okay. Form of food, some are raw and some are convenience food. Okay. Macam dikata tadi, food are purchased across all end of the spectrum of the food continuum. Food procurement, purchase for its own unit, the time spent between preparation, service, and a method of holding. Okay, food is prepared for, see the magic keyword here, immediate service. May be held whole, chill, only for a few hours. Okay, all right. As for commissary or centralized food service, tengok location dia, a centralized kitchen in a building separate from service unit. Food need to be transported to satellite serving units. Okay. Primarily commissary food service, continue to popular belief, dia kena guna raw ingredients sebab dia nak sebab dia punya cost of transportation dah tinggi, so dia orang kena dimatkan cost dari segi penyediaan makanan. So that's why they primarily target raw ingredients. Okay. Food procurement, dia kata apa sini? Centralized purchase for all service units. Food are prepared and may be distributed to satellite units for immediate service or slightly later service. Okay, dia boleh chill or either pre-plate or put into bulk, chill and frozen and stored for later. Okay. Apa lagi dia kata? Okay. Dari segi amount and kind of equipment, kita tengok conventional food service. Apa dia kata? All preparation, cooking and serving equipment needed. Both skilled and unskilled employees are needed. Okay. dari segi labor need, skill cooks and preparation workers as well as less skill for pre-preparation and serving. Selalunya kalau setakat potong bawang kupas ubi kentang yang tu less skill. Bagi yang skill work, masa proses memasak tu lah, berapa banyak garam nak letak, berapa lama nak biar sambal tu ditumis dan sebagainya. Okay. Typical food service using this, biasanya selalunya independent restaurant, cafeterias, independent hotels. Okay. Selalunya kita tumpu pada individual restaurants lah. But some hospital and healthcare, diorang guna saja kecil commercially or exactly serve. Okay. Kalau kita tengok commercially food service pula, the amount of equipment macam mana? Dia besar, large, sophisticated equipment for preparation and cooking. And some, bagi negara maju, dia gunalah some robots may be used, can be programmed for various tasks, and the suitable containers is required because you need to pack the food and deliver it to your satellite kitchens or your satellite location. Okay, highly trained. Okay, in terms of labor skill, they must be highly trained in technological aspect of food production in mass quantities. Food microbiologist is needed to ensure jamin food safety. Okay, employees must be able to operate highly specialized equipment used for food production, and typical food service using this can include airlines, certain chain restaurants, large school districts, commercial caterers, and vending companies. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically the outline of the food production. Tengok conventional dulu. So dia start dengan apa? Dia start dengan process of raw basic food and limited convenience item. So dia buat pesanan, dia terima bahan tu, dia simpan makanan tu kalau refrigerator at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or lower dry store between 65 to 70 Fahrenheit. Okay. During the pre-preparation, they will wash, sort, peel, cut, etc. Then they proceed to preparation and cooking, small to large batch, accordingly to the order made by the customer. And when the food is ready, it only goes through a short amount of holding time in refrigerator or heated cabinets. And lastly, distribute for service, meaning immediately served to the customer. Okay. Now, if we look at commissary food service, apa dia kata? Dia kata, column. Food are purchased. How is the process like? Food are purchased in raw basic form for all units. Dia terima makanan tu. Sama juga storage, dry and cold. During preparation, dia juga dalam proses washing, sorting, and they are cooked in keywords here: large batch, portion, and either chill, freeze, chill, store, or bulk freeze or chill store, or hold hot transport in appropriate temperature control equipment to the satellite serving units. Okay, apabila dia transport tu, the satellite units akan receive food yang dah di package sama ada dalam keadaan sejuk ataupun panas. Dan dia akan hold as appropriate until serving time. They will temper thaw frozen foods in the refrigerator. They will reheat hot food is necessary. And then finally, after the reheat, they will open the package and portion it in a more presentable manner. Dan akhirnya baru dia serve kepada customer dia. Okay. So that basically covers today's class. Thank you very much for listening, and we will continue on Wednesday for ready prepared and assembly food service on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Thank you, and assalamualaikum warahmatullah.